Looking forward to what I'm going to see.
Yeah, it's professional. Yeah, stepping it up.
Looks professional already.
Right. Plenty online. Let's just start this. Let's just kick it off, shall we? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, great flick on by Alan Armstrong. Oh, what a beauty! Oh, what a beauty! I waited all my life for that. What a screamer!
If there was ever an embodiment of the chef's kiss meme, and there it is. Very good if we say so ourselves, but we wouldn't because we didn't do it. Pete Wilson did. So cheers, Pete. Yes, new year, new intro, unless you're listening back to the audio version, in which case you'll be wondering what the devil we're on about. Same as usual then. If you are a listener, come and join us on the video. It's exactly the same as usual, but in glorious Technicolor and a day earlier. What could be better than that? Maybe keeping a clean sheet at Altrincham for a start. Absolute disgrace. God, we're finally at the point where we're having to manufacture our own outrage. Yes, I'm Nick Lee, bringing you the slightly unsettling sound of the Scarf Bagara War, coming at you every week, apart from next week, which we'll get to later. Fresh from a day of clarifying what he said ages ago. You're not the only one, mate. Have you seen the news? It's Russ Johnson. You all right, mate?
How are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm tickety-boo. As I said to a German colleague at work today, and he was like, "Tickety what? Tickety boo? Tickety boo?" It's like, yeah, tickety boo. That's what we say. That's what we say in the UK. In England.
It's always in Stockport, isn't it? It's a well-known Stockport expression.
Yeah.
Particularly loving your German accent as well, there, Ross. That was an unexpected highlight.
Good stuff. Shall I tell everybody what we've got? What we've got going on?
Tell me what we've got going on, who we've got going on, and what. Yeah.
Okay, so all being well, we'll have the chairman of the Larkhall Supporters Association on with us very soon. We've got some technical difficulties. Hopefully, we'll overcome those. We're going to talk about the Altrincham game last night. We'll look forward, obviously, to Larkhall on Saturday, and just generally have a chat about County. And of course, we've got friend and stalwart of the podcast, Geordie Hatter, with us. Welcome again, John.
Thank you. It is always lovely to be here. Wednesday night is county night.
Wednesday night is county night.
As was Tuesday this week.
We've also got coming on soon Andy from 8 Days a Week /Notion. And we'll talk about, well, he'll just join in the county chat anyway, and we'll have a chat about next week's gig as well. So what I'm going to hold my coffee because I'm cold again in the way that I hold my coffee.
Beer like a real man.
not on a weeknight.
I'm a big boy.
So yeah, I mean, let's just get into it, shall we?
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbagarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.
There we go. So, with our guest's arrival sort of imminent, shall we talk first about the ulti-match last night?
Yeah, that was a potential banana skin. Yeah. That worried me a bit, with them having 3 new signings. I thought, they're gonna be up for this. It's gonna be a different game, this. But yeah, settled into the game, got that first goal, and then that's it. I think there's an option for that on Football Manager, isn't there, in the press conference? It's like, once we got the early goal, we could play the game on our terms. Yeah, 6 minutes. What more do you want? And I just switched the commentary on it at that point, and I was convinced Altrincham had scored, and then straight up the other end, bang.
So I guess you heard the counter attack. I agree with you, Nick, that I wasn't expecting another 5-1 like on Boxing Day for one moment. I did think we'd win, but I thought it'd be tight. I thought it'd be like 2-1 or something like that. And actually those first 5-6 minutes, okay, we were on top, but yeah, then Liam Hogan sets up a goal by clearing the ball off the line, which is a nice little touch, isn't it? You know.
It seems even after our first goal, they seem to be on top. They seem to be putting us under a bit of pressure for a fair bit, and then step forward, Will Collar with an absolute piss missile of a strike.
Filthy. I asked for one-word responses.
No one agreed with that rule. No one did one word. It was just full sentences everywhere I saw.
No. There was a few that did one word. Let's not do them a disservice. Yeah, filthy came out. Yeah, thunder bastard.
That's kind of technically one if you haven't got a hyphen, I suppose.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. I was stood right behind that, and it was absolutely glorious. In fact, it was one of those ones where we've all been in a football stadium where we've had this where when it's hit, you don't know if it's travelling away from you or towards you.
Oh, one of them. Yeah,
it was one of them, and I was like, oh,
an optical illusion of a shot.
Yeah.
It was like the thought I had afterwards was, in earlier on in the season, before we had the current management, Will Collar would have been getting that ball in at halfway and maybe a little sideways pass. But we are now at the stage where he gets the ball inside his own half and him bounding forward with it 30, 40 yards and then belting it in the top corner like Bobby Charlton. It's not even a surprise particularly. It's just like, well, that's of course he has. Of course that's what he's done. He's Will Collar.
But it does. You do kind of get. Do you remember Chris Churchman scored a few long ranges for us, didn't he? And then every time he got the ball after that, there was just a constant cry, shoot, and he did, like every bloody time.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know Colin doesn't go down that road.
Yeah.
But just it's funny you should mention Chris Churchman. I wasn't thinking about Chris Churchman, but what I was thinking about today was the team that we've got now, and maybe we come on to this later. The team that we've got now is probably the best team we've had since 2008, 2009, perhaps. In terms of ability and the way that they're playing. And when we think back to when we had Chris Churchman and Charlie Russell in midfield, circa 2015, 2016 or something like that. Probably earlier than that, actually. In fact, it was 2014. Sort of, I interviewed Mike Flynn, and we'll get onto Mike Flynn soon. And he was basically saying, yeah, they've just got no character. And when you compare those players now to what we've got now, there's a massive difference. There isn't just one division difference for me.
Between us and Altrincham, or...
No, between the players that we had in 2014 and the players we've got now.
All right, yeah. Sorry, okay. Well, yeah, and because, I mean, that one reflection I had last night between us and Altrincham is that, if they're a National League outfit and they're mid-table, they're not like fodder, I know they're not a great run of form, but they're a mid-table National League outfit. We didn't look one division better than them. That looked like a cup tie between... we looked two divisions better over the full game, I thought. That didn't feel an exaggeration to me. I know they had their spells, the early spell, and there was a couple of spells where maybe we were a bit flat, but there was probably about 70 minutes of that game. They just couldn't cope with our pressing and then our quality on the ball.
Well, on the Altrincham forum, they seem pretty adamant that that's going to be the last time they play us now. That seems to be
well, I hope they're right.
Can you blame them?
No,
they've seen himself, Kells, get absolutely hammered, and you can't even put it down to them being in bad form because it's not just them we're doing it to. And now the next thing is to step it up and do it against the teams up at the top with us. That's just the one thing missing now.
That is literally the next challenge. But we have our guest has arrived, so we have another challenge ahead of us.
And he's probably listening to that, thinking, "Oh God."
We have another challenge ahead of us on Saturday, and there has been lots of comments in the comments, funnily enough, about Larkhill. Like, how many will they bring? What's the sort of the situation surrounding? Sorry, Larkhall, not Larkhill. I do apologise. I know we'll get him on now. Anyway, we're gonna get Paul Russell on, who is the chairman of the Larkhall Supporters Association. So we'll get him on. and we'll have a chat with Paul. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Are you well?
Yeah, very much so. Really looking forward to Saturday, to say the least. Very exciting for us.
Good. Okay. Well, I'll start off. Obviously, welcome to the Scarf Bagara War Fans podcast for Stockport County. Tell us a bit about Larkhall, sort of like a potted history, current situation at the club, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, we were founded in 1914, and we're based in Bath, and it's a village within the city limits of Bath, so it's on the eastern edge of the city, and the football ground is on a hill above the village, and coaches can't actually get up to the ground. There's two narrow country roads, so they can only get sort of halfway up. So one of the tasks of our secretary is always to let the opposition know that they can't get a coach into the ground and they have to drop off halfway up the hill. It's a fantastic, picturesque ground. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the selling points of the club. Is it's a bit of an effort and a bit of a trek to get there, but once you get there, it's really worth it. And as we're watching a game, just above us is Salisbury Hill, which is the very hill that Peter Gabriel sang about. I don't know whether you remember that particular song. Salisbury Hill is right up there above the ground. And to the right of that, you can kind of see the sort of the city below you. So it's if the football's not great, which actually most of the time it is pretty good, but if it's not, you can always have a look at the view because it's fantastic.
Well, you're in for a treat as well then on Saturday because we're right under the flight path for Manchester Airport. So not quite Salisbury Hill, but
No, it's not quite Salisbury Hill.
I must admit, I have flew to Edinburgh and I saw Stockport's ground below. I thought it was Stalybridge Celtic to begin with, but then I realised it was. And then I realised it was Stockport County. So we formed in 1914. We've played in local leagues. A lot of our history. I got involved, started to support them in about 2008, and really since that time, things have. It's no credit to me, by the way. I just happened to be a supporter at probably, arguably, the best time in Larkhall Athletics history, when we got promoted from Tier 6 to ultimately to Tier 4, where we are now. So we're in Southern League Division 1 South. So we're 3 levels below Stockport County, and it's the highest level that we've ever played at. We've been there. I think this is our 8th season. Our first season, we got to the playoff final and lost to Stratford Town, who you may remember played Shrewsbury Town earlier on this season in the FA Cup. And they beat us 3-2 in an incredibly exciting game up at their place in front of about 1,000 people. And since then, we've sort of bounced around in the middle of the league. But in the last, unfortunately, COVID in 2019-20 really prevented us possibly getting to the playoffs. So the season was ended because of COVID in March 2020, and we're in 4th place. And you need to be in the top 5 to get a playoff. And so obviously we lost that opportunity. And I think we would have had a good chance of getting to the playoffs that year. The year after, we only played 7 league games before the season was finished. But we did have a really good FA Cup run, got to the 3rd qualifying round. And this season, although we're in 10th place, we've got games in hand. And if we win them, we'll be about 3 points behind the playoffs. We got a really good point last night at 2nd place, Cirencester, away from home. I couldn't be at the match myself, but it's a great draw. That if they'd have won, they'd have gone top. So we had a late equaliser there with our new signing scoring, the new signing Jack Pearson-Brown scoring our late equaliser. So yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, we got promoted to the Southern League in our centenary year. We did the League and Cup double, and our current manager Ollie Price was part of that team. And in fact, Ollie Price, our manager, also scored our first goal at Southern League level in the first game, I think, at Tiverton back in 2014. So we feel like we've got a really good squad this year. We've had a few changes because we've had a change of manager. Ollie, as a former player, came in to replace Phil Bater, who was a defender for Bristol Rovers. We're really lucky to have him at the club for 4 or 5 years. I think he made about 450 league appearances for Bristol Rovers, Brentford, Wrexham. He left the club at the end of November, halfway through the trophy run. And since Ollie's come in, we've with his assistant, Tom Warren, We've won another 2 rounds, and so here we are, 2 or 3 days before we play Stockport County, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been doing my homework as any good podcaster should, and I think you've played 5 games to get to this point, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we've lost once in our last 8 league and cup games. So prior to last night's draw, we'd won the previous 3. So yeah, we've played 5 rounds. I've been to all of those games. We beat Slimbridge 3-1 in the first qualifying round. We were behind early on, but came back to win that 3-1. We then, probably the performance of the round was at Poulton, again another team at our level. They're local rivals to us, the 10 or 11 miles down the road, and we beat them 5-1 at their place. I mean, they're in 5th in our league, so that was a tremendous win. We were 2-0 up after 3 minutes. And then at Marlow, we won on penalties. It was probably the one game where Marlow were actually the better side overall, but we scored first, we dug in. Marlow, very good side. They're at a comparable level to us in the Isthmian League. We just hung in. We were 2-1 down, got a late equaliser through Joe Hillard, and then we won the penalty shootout, which was mad. I mean, it must have been 20 penalties. It swayed one way or the other. Our goalkeeper took a penalty and he hit the foot of the post, and that just kind of summed up the madness of it all. But we managed to do it, and that made the journey back to Bath a sweet one. And then Phil Bater decided to leave the club. We got Ollie in, and his first task, along with Tom, was to manage the team when we played at Wimborne Town, which is 1 level above us. And they are bottom of the league, but they're still 1 level above us. And we won there 2-1. Couple of cracking goals from us. And then, of course, we played AFC Tottenham, which are at our level, but I think they're 3rd in the league at the moment. And we came from behind to win that 2-1. So, yeah, in front of a crowd of nearly around 400, which is massive for us.
Do you know what I noticed that when I was doing my little bit of research the other night, Paul? It's lovely to meet you. I was looking on your website, which is a great website, by the way. Because not all websites at the different levels are necessarily fantastic. It's a really good website, the history of the club, the information about the players, the season. And yeah, one thing I noticed was that I think I might have seen you had lost a league game to Tottenham in front of maybe 150. Is that right at all?
That's right.
And then that was double that amount at the trophy game. So that made me think there's some excitement in the town, right, around this tie against around the run and the potential for what's become a big draw for you now, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the atmosphere for the Tottenham Cup game was fantastic. I've never known anything like it. I mean, we have a pop-up club shop on the day, and I was part of that on the day, and we shifted loads of scarves, loads of different stuff. I mean, it's good quality stuff. I mean, as you can see, it's
nice.
We've got plenty of merchandise, and it was. Actually, we deserved to get a point against Tottenham in the league game. We were quite unfortunate not to, but we kind of got our revenge in the cup game. But I was saying to their supporters that they'll probably forget it if they get promoted at the end of the season, which is a possibility. But obviously, I think they were kind of expecting maybe to come to our place and beat us. But we did it, and we deserved it. Absolute sheer graft and spirit from the whole team, really. One of the other things that's happened to us during the cup run is that we've lost our 2 strikers who'd got 21 goals between them. So for the Wimborne match onwards, we've had a complete change we've had a considerable change up front with Brad Norris. He scored the winner against AFC Tottenham, and he's in our 3rd spell with us. He's a Bath lad, so it's great to have him back. And we've also got Dan Demkiv, who started his career at Southampton. He's been around a few clubs and played for our current manager, Ollie Price, at Mangotsfield, and scored quite a few goals for them. So he's back for his 2nd spell with us, and that's working really, really well.
I noticed in my research as well that like loads of your players have played for Mangotsfield. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
What's the
manager? Yeah,
coaching players for Mangotsfield, and then was your manager there at one time as well? Am I putting?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of churn with players around clubs that are close to us. Particularly quite a lot of our players are sort of from the Bristol area, and Mangotsfield's one of our closest clubs. So they're South Gloucestershire, but they're on the edge of Bristol. They're on the eastern edge of Bristol, and they're in our league. Although traditionally they have been a bigger club than us. but we've kind of caught them up over the last few years. So yeah, we do have quite a few players, and our management team have both been at Mansfield in their time. So it's, I mean, yeah, I could bore you to death all night about this stuff, to be honest. But I mean, Edgeley Park is another level for us. I mean, I was looking at your recent record, and it's pretty scary, really. I think you scored 5 goals at home in 3 of the last 4 home games, and the other game you scored 4, and you won 4-1 at Altrincham last night. So it's good. It's a massive task for us. But I mean, we're excited. The players are excited about it. The management team are excited about it. The club officials are absolutely excited about it, and all our volunteers, because we are a volunteer-run club. The only people who really get paid are the players. It's a moment for them to really savour it. I mean, I'm a Walsall fan. I've always have been a Walsall supporter, and I've never got the opportunity to go to Edgeley Park, and I don't know why I never did, because I've supported Walsall for such a long time. So I'm really looking forward to it on another level for that reason as well, because it's my kind of football ground. So I very much look forward to it. And of course, Stockport and Walsall have some things in common. You're a small club next to bigger clubs. But hey, I'm not here to talk about Walsall, but I'm here to talk about the Lark. So yeah, I mean, I've followed them since 2008. And I've been a supporter, and I've been involved in setting up with other supporters the supporters club, which has worked really well. So we get an average gate of about 150, and we've got about 50 members. So it's been great, and it's just been a pleasure to be part of it.
So how many fans do you think you're going to bring then, considering that your home attendance is around about the 150 mark? Am I about right on that?
I think it'll be between 150 and 200.
Okay.
We've got, I think,
which is more than a lot of teams in this league bring.
Yeah,
it is, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah. I'm sure, like Dover, for example, or Maidenhead, or I mean, it's a big day for us. It's our cup final, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's a nice distraction from the league. I mean, I'm guessing the crowd's going to probably be around 3,000, 2,500, 3,000. Do you think?
I think we've sold around 3,000 so far.
Oh wow!
Is what I saw someone saying before. Yeah, so might be a bit closer to 4. So
that'd be fantastic.
What's the thing with the gate receipts in this? I know FA Cup is split between the two sides. Is it the same in the trophy? Oh, good.
Yeah, once everything's taken out, I think it's basically receipts that are split between the two clubs.
Because you're normally talking 18 quid pay on the gate, but with it being the cup games have been a tenner, haven't they? This season?
That's great. I think that you'll get more through the gate. I mean, I think
that's exactly it.
Really
Really
support that. I mean, I think it's just common sense judgment, and you'll get a few more through the gate. And we want to play in front of as many as possible. I think
absolutely.
We played in front of 2,000 at Edgar Street when Hereford were coming back through the divisions.
Oh, of course.
And that's probably our biggest gate, but that's going to be trumped on Saturday for sure. Because you beat Grimsby 4-0 in the last round, didn't you?
We did. Yes,
we did, and there was probably about 3,000 there. I know they would have bought a few, but not many actually, because with the FA Trophy for them, they didn't bring many. I think it'll be a decent crowd at Edgeley Park, because again, just with the excitement. If you'd been playing us earlier in the season, Paul, when we were struggling a bit in kind of mid-table, but maybe different. But there's really some excitement now in the fan base around Saturday, and just as an added kind of detail on it. I don't know whether you know, but at the Altrincham game last night, we couldn't have as many fans as we normally would have, even for a local derby, because they've got issues with their stadium in terms of the capacity. So there'll be plenty who'll be like, well, we just won 4-1. I didn't get to see that. I want to come along and see this next one. So I think you'll play in front of a decent crowd and a decent atmosphere.
Well, I mean, we're certainly going to look forward to it. I mean, we're going to approach the game as we always do. We want to win it. I mean, why not? Of course we do, and we'll approach it in a professional manner. We've got a good team. We've got a good spine. I mean, the team generally has been fantastic under the adversity of the managerial change and 1 or 2 players leaving. But the nucleus of the squad that we've got has been there for 3, 4, 5 years now. And it shows in the spirit that they show, particularly against AFC Tottenham, and throughout the season. We've got a good spine. We've got, our goalkeeper, Sean Simmons. He's from Cornwall. His mum's coming up all the way from Cornwall, I think, to watch the game. And Tanya gets to some home games anyway. So she's very much a follower of the Larks. and we got really solid sort of centre back pairing, Mike Baker and Josh Jones. The latter is back from injury, and we've got silk and steel in the middle, if you like, with Matt Britton, I think he scored 8 goals this season. He loves the tackle, he picks a pass, and he can shoot. So, and he's got a number of players who potentially could be around him on the day, who will complement sort of his style. And we've got Alex Lambert, number 7, who's our winger. He can play on either flank, and he's probably in the form of his life at the moment. He's been brilliant for us in the last few weeks. He's been with us probably for 4 or 5 years, and he's been great. So you never know, do you? It's a one-off. It's going to be tough for us, but we're in good form. Yeah. As are you.
Yeah. You never know in the cup. It's we saw in the FA Cup as recently as last week. There was a few shocks, wasn't there? And yeah, there's a lot to be said for Spirit, and a lot to be said for a settled team, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I think in our dual role as part of the Stockport Tourist Board as well, we should offer our advice to our visiting fans. Don't forget to bring sunglasses to the scoreboard. We're not joking. That's not a joke. It's genuinely terrible. If you're anywhere, it's the brightest screen I've ever seen in my life. There's no need for anything to be that bright. It's bright as well. It's not just the size.
I mean, funnily enough, is the players and the number of supporters are coming up on the Friday, and they're going to be staying Friday and Saturday. So there'll be a boost to the receipts of the tourist board locally, I'm sure. I think we've got a couple of coaches coming up, but one's coming up on Friday, and the players are staying over on the Friday and Saturday, as I say. I'll be coming up on the Saturday and coming back, and we should get there early enough to really soak it in. I understand there's some good pubs around the ground. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Plenty of pubs. Plenty of good pubs.
Avoid the pineapple.
Okay. Okay. And how about the social club attached to the football club? Will we be able to access that if we need it, if we could? Or
shut down now? That.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not sure if they sell. Do they sell alcohol in the away end now, Russ? Do you know?
Don't think they do. Someone might correct me for that, but I don't think they do. But you're not short of pubs around the grounds. Honestly, it's there's lots and lots. Too many to name, actually. Although we could name them, there are too many. To name.
We could all name them. We could all name them. Yeah. As you come out of the train station, for people who come on the train, you walk up the cobbled steps out of the station, and there's a pub called the Armory, just to pick one, right there on the roundabout, which is a nice old pub, and you get a mixture of home and away supporters in there. Yeah. Maybe the other thing to mention, as I think Nick was saying on the podcast the other week, is that don't be mistaken the area around Stockport County's ground for Stockport Town Centre, because it isn't. It's a district called Edgeley, which does have pubs, but kind of the shops you'd think, what's wrong with Stockport? It's kind of just got lots of newsagents and
the town centre's not much better, but
yeah, exactly.
Let's just get our facts straight, though.
Yeah, if you're looking for Marks and Spencers, we haven't got one of them either in the town centre. We have got a town centre, and we've got like an old town, which is right in the town, which is kind of a bit of development and kind of like independent pubs and bars and shops and things like that.
The ground, you can see it, can't you, as you're coming on the train? As you come in north, it's just on the left-hand side. So it's just, I suppose it's the other side of that, isn't it? It's the town centre's to one side and the edge of the other.
What you need to do is you need to turn left as you come out the train station for County. Turn right for the town. That's what you need to
do. Paul, just one last thing before we let you go. Jack, we got a comment here. If we get 3,500, potentially that's 15,000 for you. How much would that help the club out in terms of running costs and things like that?
I mean, immensely. I mean, we've actually made. Let's say we lost on Saturday. Okay, let's just say we lost, and I think we get £1,500 for that, and I think that would make our total winnings to about £17,500 through those 5 rounds. So I mean, that 3,500 gate, 15,000. I mean, that's a lot of money for a club like us, and it'd be well on the way to helping us for an entire season, I would say. I haven't got the exact figures in terms of our running costs and stuff, but I mean, it's all, we're volunteer run, so it's and we are well run. I mean, we're financially managed really well, but obviously that amount of money would would significantly help us and maybe help us kick on in the league, which is still our priority.
Yeah. I'm interested in, do you see yourself as naturally a club at this level, Paul, or do you are there ambitions to compete at a higher level? It sounds like there are.
I think, I think there's absolutely no reason why we can't get promoted out of the division that we're in. It's a very competitive league. There's lots of really good teams, but it's fairly even. There's probably 8, 9, 10 teams that could get promoted, and I think we are potentially one of them. We do punch above our weight. We players often come back to us because they, often players really enjoy being with the club. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but most people talk about us as being quite a friendly club. And I think, we're ambitious. We do want to go up to the next level. The Southern Premier Division would be a different kettle of fish financially. There's much bigger clubs in it, but of course there's bigger clubs in the league that we're in. But there's absolutely no reason why we can't get promoted. But I don't think we throw money at it that we haven't got to stay there. I think we're quite practical about it. I think where we are is probably our natural level, but I think going up a level is also something that's realistic if we plan for it. And if we plan for it, it's a possibility.
Okay.
Good stuff. Okay, one last message from a watcher.
Username checks out.
Happy Hatter. She says, "Let's make these guys welcome on Saturday. Show them the best of Stockport." Absolutely, I'm sure your officials and club people will get a very, very good welcome from Mark Stock, because it's our club's turned around a lot in the past 10 years, hasn't it? So I'm sure you'll be welcome with open arms. And
I think, we're very much looking forward to it. We have no doubts that we're going to get a warm welcome, whatever the score is, and we're just going to enjoy the day, make the most of it, and see where it takes us on the pitch. And also, I'd like to say it'd be great to see Stockport County back as a Football League club. I'd much rather have a Stockport County in the league than a Stevenage or a Crawley. Thanks very much. So,
wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
So we need some of these older traditional Football League clubs back, and it looks like you could be on the way.
Oh, we like you. You can come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just, we don't need him. We don't need to be playing for Larkhall for Paul to come on, do we?
No, we'll just get rid of you, mate.
Right, Paul, thank you very much for your time. It's very much appreciated.
Great. And as I say, we're all looking forward to it. And for our club, it's about, for the volunteers who've been with us for years. We've got volunteers who've been involved in the club in one way, shape or form, player, manager, to whatever, who've been involved in so many different ways for 50 years or more. And, this day's for them if it's for anybody. And we can't wait.
Good stuff.
Enjoy.
Right, might see you on Saturday then.
Cheers.
And have a good time.
See you now.
All the best, mate. Enjoy.
Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.
What a lovely guy.
Wasn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Almost going to feel bad about beating him now. But...
so it's interesting when isn't it on Saturday? What we'll do is we'll flip back to Altrincham and then we'll do a proper preview of the Larkhall game on Saturday, because our other esteemed guest has arrived, who's going to join us for the Alti chat and also sort of stay for the rest of the show as well. I haven't got a transition for him. That's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Shall I just use
Pie Maker's review?
Yeah. We should have done a special Pie Makers transition. I tell you what, we'll do this kind of transition. So we're going to welcome on Andy from 8 Days a Week.
Hello.
Welcome, Andy. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. This has actually been a logistical nightmare for me. Me left my index fingers hurting because I've been pressing my buttons too much since we started the show. Anyway, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, pal. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. What we're going to do?
To the bedroom.
It's what?
To the bedroom. Yeah.
Been relegated.
EastEnders is on. So.
Yeah. We'll talk about Alti because I think I saw you there last night. Anyway. Was you there last night?
I was, yeah. So we got in a little bit late. So my mate who drove us, he said, "Oh, we'll park at this pub. It's not far from the ground." A mile and a half away. We had to run, and we missed the first 15 minutes. So that was fun. So,
Nice. So that's
The first 15 minutes, that's about 4 goals, isn't it, normally?
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a bit of a pain in the backside, but never mind. Missed the Sarcevic goal, but managed to see Will Collar's absolute thunder cunt. Excuse the language, sorry.
I'm glad you got there for the collar one, Andy. I was about to ask you that. Nice to meet you, by the way. I'm Jonathan.
You too, mate.
Yeah. I'm glad you got there for the collar one because it was a cracker, wasn't it?
It was incredible. I mean, the angle from behind the goal as well, like you could just see it, and the keeper didn't even bother to move. It's like you just knew as soon as he set himself exactly where that ball was going.
I love the someone's filmed it from in the Alti end behind the goal, and they're all shouting abuse at the keeper. So, what's he meant to do apart from get the sub keeper on as well and still not save it?
That's it. Yeah,
Fuck off.
It was just incredible. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say it was amazing actually being in the ground, and I was saying at the top of the show, I was right behind it. So, but it was amazing how people around me. Oh, it's almost like, you know, in Chinese whispers, when you hear something for the second, third, fourth time, it gets better and better, or it gets more wild. People going, "Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see the swerve? It started from the outside of the post." Like, right, can everybody just calm down?
It's not Cristiano Ronaldo, is it?
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't Roberto Carlos. You know, it didn't swerve that much. It just arrowed into the top corner, did it?
Yeah, it was just direct. It was like,
yeah.
He actually placed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think I compared him to Bobby Charlton after the game, but you know, Bobby Charlton might have blasted it. He side-footed it into the top corner pretty much, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like he knew exactly where he was putting it.
Yeah, it was a very, very good goal. I mean, he's just been incredible recently anyway, hasn't he? He's been easily our best player for the last few weeks, and that's saying something.
Yeah. So I think it's like nine direct goal contributions in his last 6 games or something.
Yeah.
Just something ridiculous. Mental. Just shackles are off.
Yeah, there's a reason he was playing in the SPL last season. You know, he's that good.
Yeah, absolutely. So generally about the game, I mean, 4 different scorers. I would say a comfortable win in the end. And I was a bit like, I think you said, Nick, they signed 3 players, and I was a bit nervous. You know, especially
to get that early goal. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on the way up, I was saying to my lad, look, I'm a bit nervous about this. They've got Osborne. Osborne's no, he's no slouch, is he? You know, he's no social loafer, should we say?
Yeah.
And then obviously Hume, I know Hume's put a bit of timber on, and he started on the bench anyway. But still, it felt like it was almost like a training match towards the end.
Yeah, it looked very, very a bit too relaxed, especially at some parts of the game. At the end of the first half, looked very relaxed, and the last 10-15 minutes again, we just seemed to just take the foot off the pedal a bit, and we just let them in, and that's when their goal came.
Yeah. But did you notice though, even late on, we took the foot off the pedal in terms of when we're in possession, but when we're out of possession, I think Challoner mentioned it in his post match. The counter press, they were still hunting in packs.
Yeah,
there was one point. Stop. I know there was one point towards the end because I was stood in the far corner. There was 4 of our lads chasing down their right back to get the ball off him within between 75 and 80 minutes.
Well, I was listening to the Alti commentary, and they said that on the commentary. The way they were talking about it, it was like they'd just seen fire for the first time, or just come to wheel or something. The way they were like, and then there was 4 of them round him. Like 4-0 up, and there's 4 of them round him. All right, lads.
I remember that instant you're talking about it, and one of them was Ash Palmer. What was he doing there, chasing the guy into the corner flag?
I think
whatever happened, he sprinted back to the centre where it was supposed to be, you know. But they've clearly got some very clear instructions that this is what you do, and I think I agree, Andy, that we went flat for those couple of spells, but then I think kind of collectively they remembered, oh, we'll be in trouble if we don't go back into that dressing room having really pressed for the whole 90, 91, 92 minutes, because that's clearly what Challoner is expecting of them. Not just requesting, but expecting, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, look, Challoner coming in, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it, from where we was at the start of the season. And thank God we made the decision when we did. If we'd have gone into that Bolton game with Steve Rusk in charge, we'd have been absolutely done. We'd have been ruined. I mean, we'd have probably never made it to Bolton if Rusk had have stayed any longer. So.
Yeah, because didn't we struggle to get, well, not struggle, but Stamford the first 20 minutes or so, we were paying them quite a bit of respect. And I seem to remember one or two balls flashing across the goal mouth even in that game. Yeah.
It is. It's startling, isn't it? Because that, Challoner talks about that counter press. We can talk about it all day long, but that desire to get the ball back as soon as you've lost it, and I don't know if he puts the seconds on it. It's got to be back within 5 seconds or what, all the time. Those lads that were playing last night, I noticed he didn't make substitutions till late on as well, but they know that. Say South of Wales, for example, he knows if he does not press for that whole match, Minion will be in the next week.
Yeah.
He's got to do it. He's got to do it, and that's what we're getting out of him now. We've got these sort of sub positions for every position on the pitch. That strength in depth is going to start to play a real key part in our season.
Well, that was going to be my point with Mark Kitchen, because the last few weeks he's been revitalised, playing left centre back. It's like he's perfect there, and now he's got someone breathing down his neck, and he's not even guaranteed a spot. Is he going to be going back to? Is he going to come and compete with Rydell at wing back, or? So in turn, Rydell's ass is twitching now as well.
Well,
I think it's going to be like that, definitely. I mean, Kitchen didn't have his best game by any stretch last night, but he was still solid enough. Yeah. And I think Johnson looked a bit uneasy when he came on. I think he made the error for the goal, but I think the strength and depth is just frightening now. It's like years ago we'd have been crying out to be winning games 4-0. And now we're just finding it a little bit too easy, which can be a worry. It's a bit complex.
It's like playing FIFA on the lowest difficulty setting, isn't it? Just not even looking.
It does for a manager though, like the position challengers, and it does snowball, especially with players like Ryan Johnson bringing him in, because 4-0 up, it's money in the bank, isn't it? You can put him on. He can have a mistake that leads to a goal 4-1. Doesn't really matter. You do that when your backs are against the wall and it's 1-1 or you're losing 1-0 or something, and it's everyone's down your neck, aren't they?
Yeah, you'll be straight out like Hogan was when he made his mistakes, and that's the club captain. He was straight out of the team.
What they should do is just extend it. If you're going to bring people on where you're like 4-0 up, just pick a fan out of the. I was going to say I'd love it, but I'm like a languid number 10, so I'd be shit at the pressing. I'd be straight off. I wouldn't be getting back in next week. They'd have to put Madden back in, and I think it'd probably be the right decision on balance. Should
we just call up this fact from Ryan Moore? I did see this on Twitter actually. Under Rusk, 41 game tenure, we scored 61 goals. 1.5 goals a game. Challoner has been in charge for 12 games and it's 34 goals, nearly 3 a game. Same players, pretty much.
Yeah.
Discuss.
Same players. I think it's a mentality thing, right? It's being. I think Challoner used the word in one of his very first interviews that players need to be stretched. That's the word he used, and I think I get the impression that there's obviously tactical things he's done. But if there's one big thing that he's done, it's expecting them to fulfill their potential and fulfill, because they're players who've played at League 2 and League 1 level. Right? Quite a few of these guys.
Yeah, I mean overall we've got a League 2 squad, and the mentality is a step above, and he has just, like you said, the shackles are taken off. He's just come in. He's let the players play, and it's all well and good like under Rusk. It's like but we played 88 passes between right back and centre back. That's fine. We still lost 2-1 though, mate. It's neither here nor there, is it? It's like you win or you lose, and you've just got to put in maximum. And that's what these players are now starting to show that they can do. They're putting the effort in to go along with the ability.
Do you know one thing I saw on the Yellow Board the other day was somebody said that that we look back on Rusk and say, well, it was a mistake to hire him, and I think with respect we would say that. But what somebody said was that he was highly regarded, and one of the facts about him is that he was being mentored by Gareth Southgate, which I didn't know that. But what it kind of made me think of is that my frustration watching England is that we're quite, we're kind of really cautious and pass the ball a lot and lots of possession, but
that makes sense.
Sometimes, but with Jack Grealish, let him run at the defence, and like really good players, just let them do their thing because they're pretty good, our forwards, right? And if they're guys who are good enough to play in the level above, it's like it's the obvious thing to do, isn't it? Just unleash them.
Yeah.
Is this what like Norwich, like Norwich and Fulham do? The sort of yo-yo between the Championship where you can really get at teams, you can go gung-ho and really be a bit direct, and it works with good players. As soon as you get into the Premier League, it's all sideways passing, tippy-tappy, and you get found out a bit.
Well, I've said it before. They shouldn't be allowed in the Premier League. There should be that league in between, and it's just like Norwich, West Brom, and Fulham playing each other every week. So end of time.
It's always
Burnley as well. Yeah.
It's always the same three: Norwich, Fulham, West Brom. They go up, they come down, they go up.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be allowed back up the following season if you've been that crap.
Just sod you, mate. Yeah, that's it.
So that when Derby were up and they got like 9 points, they should have never been allowed back in the league again.
That's it. Right, you've completed it, mate. You're starting from the league now.
Start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Do I think that'll be interesting. I'm going to say when we get to the league. I guess that what Challoner is doing is he's expecting the players to do that, fulfill their potential, press teams, bully teams. Really, there'll come a point where we can't bully teams every week. There'll come a point where I guess the game can't just be about all-out attack the whole time. And I don't know, we'll have to be a bit more cagey, have different game plans when we're playing teams of our kind of level on a weekly basis. Or I don't know, is Challoner's approach a bit like Jurgen Klopp's at Liverpool? Doesn't matter who you're playing, you just press them, you just go at them.
Well, look at the Bolton games.
Yeah,
particularly we play.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what level they're at?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, absolutely. That's what we did there, wasn't it?
I don't know
just
about
believe
that.
in yourself.
Yeah, but the Bolton game, it was a free hit. You can just go out and attack them, and it doesn't really matter. I'd like to think, I'd hope, and I'd like to think that as we do go up the leagues, because we are gonna, that he would be adaptable.
Yeah,
but you never know, do you? You never know.
I'm confident. That's not me like raising doubts, But I was thinking about the West Ham game in the Cup, where that was such a tactical performance, wasn't it? Because we clearly didn't have players at the same level, but what we did was we had that shape for the whole 90 minutes. You know what I mean? So I guess it'll just be interesting the challenges we come up against as we go forward.
Yeah. In doing some research for this podcast, because I do research for podcasts.
It's got deja vu then, mate.
I've been listening to other podcasts, other fan podcasts, and the one that made my ears prick up quite a lot was I listened to the Chesterfield podcast.
Why were they talking about you?
No. But they were saying, and get on this, they were saying that they fully expect to be in the EFL next season, and they think that they should have 10 more points than they have currently, because listen, Nick, don't interrupt. Because they've other teams have scored late goals against them on 3 or 4 occasions this season. So they believe they should be 10 points ahead, even further ahead.
No, they should just learn to defend for 90 minutes. While you were where you're listening, did you contribute any money to their crowdfunder to buy some class and decorum?
That'll be why they're conceding goals later on. If the players are only on 80% wages, they're only going to play for 80% of the time.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's getting snipped.
There's me getting some dodgy 1-star reviews now, isn't there? Chesterfield are going to hammer me.
But yeah, it did, and it boiled me piss a bit actually, because they were talking as well about like who else should they sign with their prize money from the Chelsea match. I'm thinking
prize money from getting absolutely battered and humiliated on national television.
Yeah, but they'll get prize money for it, won't they?
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
It's like going on a naked attraction. It's like, oh, I got paid £1,000. It's like, yeah, but everyone's seen your dick. Yeah, but I've got £1,000. It's like everyone's seen your dick, mate. Everyone's seen Chesterfield's dick, and it's not pretty.
Yeah. Do you know what? I saw that on Match of the Day, and I guess it maybe is what we would do as well. But when they score their goal, and they were 5-0 down when they scored the goal, and the reaction and the behind the goal from their fans, it's like they scored the winner.
Yeah.
They were going mental behind there.
There was no need for the limbs.
There wasn't, was there?
The problem is there was no irony about it as well.
Scenes are okay, but not
limbs. No,
limbs.
That's it. It was genuinely like, yes, this is the best thing that's ever happened to anyone. No irony. No.
There was a fun fact actually that I enjoyed reading, and I'm trying to find it on Twitter so I can tell you. But one of our fans tweeted that playing the European champions isn't for everyone, and then shared images of the Liverpool team that we played back in the 70s, I think, in the FA Cup after they'd won the European Cup. And it was 0-0 at our place, and then we took them back to Anfield, or I might have got that reversed wrong. And then it was 0-0 at full time at their place, and they beat us 2-0 after extra time. So, and it wasn't a second string team. And obviously, they didn't really have them in the 70s. The team is like Kenny Dalglish and all these sorts of players that were really, Bruce Grobbelaar was in net, stuff like that, and it's like, wow. But maybe we shouldn't talk about Chesterfield too much because it is a Stockport County podcast. Sorry for bringing that up, by.
You're obsessed, mate.
But I've listened to a Notts County one as well. They sound pretty confident that they're going to go on a run and.
I bet every single one of us is the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apart from the Boreham Woods one, because they probably don't have a podcast. I wouldn't imagine.
No, I don't think they do.
There we go. See. My hunch was right.
I've not found it.
Sherlock.
I've not found it.
Do you know what? In terms of those top 6-7 teams, I just looked at the league table last night, and on the BBC, it's got a form table next to it. And what I noticed, I think I put it on yellow board, is that you take the top 6 teams, and each of their last 5 games, so that's 30 games altogether. There's been one defeat. That was Bromley getting beat by Maidenhead, surprisingly. And what that suggests to me is that you got this cream at the top of teams who are, ambitious, maybe got some money behind them, and they're going to pull away, including us, I would hope. But what that then suggests is we can't afford many, if any, slip-ups, because it's going to be such a strong. I think again, somebody replied on yellow board saying Sutton won last year with 2 points per game. It's going to be much more than that this year if you want to win the league because of the strength. So I think there will be confidence, won't there, among the other teams as well. But also there has to be that recognition that, you're not going to, there's going to be games against Altrincham where you might win 4 and 5-1, but the games between each other, right? Some kind of mini league at the top is going to be key to all of this.
I think we need to hammer the absolute fodder, I think, to get the goal difference up. And then, that last 4 games is looking absolutely enormous. That's going to be mayhem.
Yeah. Wrexham away.
Wrexham.
Yeah. Wrexham, is it the current top 4? I think the last 4 games: Wrexham, Boreham Wood, Chesterfield, and Halifax final game at home.
Oh, wow!
It's like, I might just tell her Missy she's not seeing me for a month. I'm just gonna sleep in Alexandra Park, I think. Sod it.
Is that if we go up though? Yeah. Is that if we go up, you're just going to spend a full month in Alexandra Park on the piss?
Oh no, just in general. Like, what I mean, if we go up, I'll have another conversation. But that's a totally separate conversation. Now. That last 4 is just going to be absolutely bonkers. It's going to be. If you think we've had a few scrambles for tickets in the last few weeks, then that's going to be chaos. Yeah.
I think they need to sort out the ticketing system before that. Then definitely, it's an awful system.
Really, yeah. It's such a shame that everything's so spot on. Russ isn't bothered because he manages to get a ticket either way. He's got some magic voodoo.
It's called the F5 button on my keyboard. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I did see someone on Yellowboard who, when they released the extra tickets at 12 o'clock, someone on Yellowboard said that he phoned up at 5 to 12 and booked tickets for the other home games and then manipulated it so that he was on the phone at like 12. He's like, oh, I might as well get an Altrincham one.
Oh, yeah, just while it occurs to me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
I'll tell you what, I was one of the ones queuing up because I was just saying to you before the show, wasn't I? Got down at 11:15 because I was lucky enough to be able to. And I would say at 12 o'clock, there was like about 30, 40 fans queuing. So I imagine most of those got ticket bus. But yeah, if they send those 30, 40 away because they'd sell the tickets to people, sitting in their pajamas, I think they'd have had some they've had some tricky customers on their hands.
But that's it. We're all on about the online sales and what. When Chloe was last on, and is it next week she's back, Russ?
Yes.
Yes, she's back next week. But when she's on
no, week after next, because we're not doing one next week.
We'll of course. Same thing, isn't it? Yeah, son works in the ticket office, and he said for the Bolton game, after 2 days after they'd sold out, people are walking into the ticket office like, "Oh, can I have a Bolton ticket?" So it's sold out. It's like, "Oh, no one told me." It's like, "Well, what do you want us to do? Come around your house?" Go around the street with a loudhailer. It's like Bolton tickets are gone.
Well, this is something the club have to address, isn't it? And we've spoke about this on previous pods where you still have to cater for the older generation, should we say, whilst pleasing everybody that goes to the games has gone historically. They should be higher in some sort of pecking order than day trippers, perhaps. You're not going to please everybody, I think, is the bottom line.
I think that's really hard, that stuff. And I think that whichever kind of system that you bring in, where you've got basically more fans, considerably more fans than can get in, well, obviously some people are going to be disappointed, and also there's going to be, you could pick arguments against any system that's used, because you have the person who goes to every game, but then you get the person who can't go to every game but has been going for 30 years. Yeah. That kind of stuff. And then you also get I remember this from Newcastle, you see, when suddenly we were fantastic, and at the same time the capacity was just 36,000 because it was all seater, in the Keegan time. And the other risk that I think you run a little bit is that you kind of, okay, day trippers, but day trippers become regular fans. Yeah. So how do you start? How do you start? The fan base becomes a little bit kind of stale in a way. It's the same people all the time. I guess that's what United must have been through during the 90s a little bit as well. So how do you manage all of that while still rewarding loyalty? What's loyalty? But also encouraging that flow of fans coming through. One of the great things about County for me, I think, is that fact that you go and there's bunches of young lads there, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that. Well, Russ mentioned a tattoo the other week, didn't you? But I think when you're forcing people to have a tattoo to get a ticket, that's when it becomes branding.
Tattoos, yeah, that absolutely gets you a ticket. Yeah.
Slapped you on people walking county tattoos on their heads because Russ has put them on there.
Right, let's move on to the Larkhall game. I know we spoke to Paul before. He was obviously fantastic insight there. But from our perspective, I guess, obviously, I'm sure we'll all agree we're fully expecting to win the match with relative ease, I would say.
I wouldn't just say that, Russ. I'd say we should be aiming to win it.
Yeah. I think it should be 10-0 minimum. That should be the minimum requirement for the quality of the squad.
Everyone's sacked. Yeah.
No, I think he'll bring the changes, won't he? I think he'll play the so-called understudies.
Yeah. Who may well become first teamers.
Well, this is it.
That's it. Every something is an opportunity.
Yeah. Never have the lines been so blurred at County between first string and second string.
Never in the field of human conflict of so many given stuff for loads of people and that. Carry on.
Yeah, I think we should.
We can all do sayings, mate.
Second World War, we've got to have a reference, haven't we? Yeah. I think that, like you say about the reserve team, so-called. You look at the bench last night. I mean, they're all people who you wouldn't worry about them stepping into the first team, and would fancy their their chances of getting into it. So I guess it's that thing for, if you're a Larkhall fan, you're thinking, well, okay, they're playing some of their reserves, but these guys are desperate to impress because they want to be playing every week, kind of thing.
And even if they do kind of look at the reserves, I mean, Barkley was playing in League One last season for one. Like Hogan, well, Hogan will might be one of the ones sitting it out, possibly, if we are. Well, no, he'll probably still play, won't we? Because we're a bit lighter on centre halves now, with 2 having left.
And he's not really played that much recently, anyway.
No, so I'd imagine he'll be captain. It'll be because it sounds like Keane's out as well from the
it's on operation.
Yeah, stemming from overuse apparently. So I think he'd be getting a rest anyway. Either way, got Minahan to come in. Crankshaw, who was possibly, it was a bit harsh that he didn't get in the starting lineup yesterday, but yeah, it's just the names. It's mental, isn't it?
We've not mentioned Rooney. Do we still have Rooney? You know, it's the fact that I kind of keep almost forgetting that we have John Rooney, who was our star player last year, and you know, the classes apart from maybe what else we had a lot of the time. Is astonishing, isn't it? Sure, it astonishes him.
Yeah, he's used to being first choice on the team sheet wherever he's been, really, isn't it? But he's just never shown me enough to make me say he deserves to be in the team every single week. He'll hit absolute pearlers from everywhere on the pitch, but he just doesn't seem to put a shift in.
Andy, do you agree with what I've heard said occasionally, which is that Rooney's one of these who maybe's suffered from the fact that he played his best football for us, including those screamers, etc., in front of empty grounds? Because I feel a little bit like there's never been a real connection between him and the fans as much as he might, you know, as I was saying now with Quigley or Crankshaw, right? But there you go. He was playing in front of empty grounds. Imagine if I forget who we were playing, but he curled one into the top corner in front of the Cheadle end. I mean, these are the things that would have cemented some kind of connection a bit more, right?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a part of it. But also, I don't know. There's just something. But I just can't put my finger on it. It's like whether or not it's the rumours about him being involved in Jim leaving or whatever. I think there's just something there that's just stuck in the back of my head that I just can't warm to him. It's annoying.
I definitely kind of understand where you're coming from on that. Yeah.
I think now just the way he plays for me now doesn't fit the new approach, the new philosophy. I don't think this breaking at pace, getting up the field. I don't think he's. I mean, he'll do a good job coming off the bench and what have you, and he'll probably win us some points. But is he going to be? I mean, we've said it before. Is he going to be happy sitting on the bench or?
Yeah.
Like Andy said, he played first choice everywhere he's played. So
yeah. And it's the present thing, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, Andy.
Yeah, all right. I just don't think he's enough of a team player, you know. Like it seems to be that there's a little bit of selfishness there, which you need to have to an extent, but you also need to know when what's better for the team isn't always what's better for you.
Yeah. I've somebody's just said there in the comments, haven't they? Henshaw, he suited Jim's style more than DC's. Okay. What I was thinking about Rooney was that under Rusk, it seemed to me occasionally last season that we only thought there was one way of scoring a goal, which is, you know, you give the ball to Rooney and he either belts it in the top corner or he plays a 70-yard quarterback pass to MSH. It was the only one that would run fast. Whereas now it's like so that in that he's going to shine, isn't he? Whereas in a team that's about pressing, it's about everybody contributing. It's not about one star guy necessarily. You know, Sarcevic is a great player, but they don't just give him the ball all the time and say, right, you get on with it. So there's just a real difference there, isn't there?
Yeah. Rooney doesn't strike me as the type of player that will hunt in a pack and chase down.
No, I think he did it once or twice against Bolton Wanderers in a way I seem to remember. I put like slide tackles in, but I think maybe even at the time I thought, well, you're not going to do that every 5 minutes. You're going to upset yourself. So,
it's not a new boss comes in work, is it?
Yeah, exactly. it's like Wayne's first at the meeting today. That doesn't normally happen. Right, he's bought a pen with him. Not Wayne. I keep calling him Wayne. John.
It's John. Yeah, it's John.
I don't think we'd have a problem with him if it was Wayne, would we?
Probably not. No.
No. Yeah, he'd do a job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Larkhall, and then on the following Tuesday, I mean, not really much to say about this. We'll cover it in next week's. No, we won't. We've not got a show next week. Eastleigh.
Yeah,
Playing
Eastleigh at home.
Yeah.
So again, I think I'm not sure of the fixtures coming up actually, but I'm sure I saw somebody say they were quite sort of winnable, sort of routine, if you like. I don't want to.
We're not looking at a run against any top sides yet. It's just a matter of getting the goal
Chesterfield on the 8th. That's the next big
that's the nearest one. Chesterfield, yeah, absolutely. But then it's them four at the end, the big ones. Where there's got Torquay at home and Southend at home in April. Grimsby away, that's April as well. Solihull at home is also April. Yeovil might yet sneak up there. That's 5th from last. So you're talking March, April onwards, pretty much is where we're coming up against shit or bust, isn't it?
Yeah.
We might have won it by then, the way we're going.
It's exciting, though, isn't it? It's exciting to be part of it.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It's you're looking at the games through January and February, and Chesterfield is the only one that stands out as okay. Obviously, that's a challenge. You'd expect to win You'd be going out disappointed not to win all the other ones, really, just on form and league position, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So save up the points because we're going to need them for the last 4 games.
Bagging them away is another one we've got.
In the lead up to them last 4 games, we just really need to be managing the players a lot better as well. Not picking up any stupid knocks, not overtraining. Just make sure everyone's in tip top for them 4 games.
Yeah,
because I get the feeling one of them last 4 teams is going to try and kick the absolute bejesus out of our players.
Yeah,
won't surprise me. One of I don't know which one it would be. Wrexham would be my bet actually. Well, maybe they'll have a sweepstake near the time.
You can see Wrexham have got that scrappiness in them.
Yeah. I think they'll just try and kick us off the park at their place. But it depends how, because they're on a decent run at the moment, Wrexham. They're doing all right, but I don't know, will they fall away by the end? Don't know. It's gonna be because there's going to be some big teams are going to miss out this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we said it every year with the National League, like some big teams, but this, out of all the seasons we've been here, this has been absolutely bonkers.
I mean, something that needs to be looked at anyway is the format of the National League. One automatic, it's a shambles, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so mismatched, isn't it?
Yeah. The quality is that good that it could easily be a League 3, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And be treated as such.
Yeah, I guess when they brought it in, it would made more sense because it was like, okay, to get into the league, which is this exclusive club, you've got to win the one below. So, that's a real prize for, I guess, the early ones who came up, Scarborough or somebody, right? But once you got to the point where, like we've just been saying, the top half of the National League is made up of teams that, rightfully have got league history. Well, why can only one of them have a chance of getting in there? Because we've all been up and down. You know what I mean? So I suppose it's something that's evolved to that point now where maybe it does need looking at.
Yeah, I mean, and then you've got teams in the league that have no league history, like Forest Green and teams like that have just come from nowhere. Had a bit of money from a bored businessman nearby. Sounds a bit like us. I hope it doesn't end up that way. But
no, I think if that did happen, if he took us up and I won't say got bored, but for some reason left, then I think we would be in the league for a long, long time, just because of the infrastructure we've got and the fan base and the size of the fan base and things like that.
Depends if he asks for his money back in that hypothetical situation. No, nothing suggested. But if he just decided we were all dickheads, and then was like, "Yeah, I want my money back as well," then we would have.
I hope he's not watching this then.
I say if he decides, if he finds out, we're all
Right. Am I right in saying though that all the money is invested is being converted into shares anyway? So if he was to sell the club, he'd get his money back regardless.
So that seems the case. Converted into equity and whatever. That was from the last co-op meeting, I think.
Right.
I think there's another one due soon because that was a while back now. I think that was a few months back because that was where they met. Was it the forum? August, that was it because they had the fans forum around the same time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where Stock mentioned because I think we're getting to the point where we might start hearing about the ground because he said November, December time, which has gone. So that might be something. I'd love to see some plans, for the Quidditch stands that we're building. Yeah,
it'd just be nice to be able to see what's coming and what the plans are to make us even more sustainable going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exciting times. Talking of exciting times, shall we have a bit of a chat about the gig next week and what people can expect?
Yeah.
Do it. Tell them, Russ.
No, you tell them, Nick.
Yes, so we are at Notion next week, which is pretty much sold out now, isn't it?
I think there's one ticket left, which I've saved for Russ's mate.
Oh, he's not coming now. He shits out on me. So there's one spare ticket if anybody wants it.
There's a ticket. I think it's us, myself and Russ, with Gary Stockforth and Mike Flynn. There's going to be some live music, isn't there, Russ?
There is.
Rob Brittner from Palava. He's going to be playing a little set of covers, isn't he?
He is.
And there's going to be pints and pies and pints and pies and pints. Yeah, I'm well on board.
But moreover, there's going to be lots of football discussion with Gary Stockforth and Mike Flynn.
I did mention them, didn't I? Or did I not?
I think you
That'd
did.
be really
Well,
awkward, wouldn't it?
Somewhere in between the pies and the pints.
Yeah. I'll elbow them both out the way to get a pint.
So it'll be a good night, and if you can't make it on the night, we are recording it, but we're going to get that out a few weeks later. Purely just because of the logistics, really, just be having to film it, and then I'll have to put it together. So we'll do that.
We don't want people going, "Oh no, I won't go." They'll release it straight away. Well, we're not. So you just spend 3 weeks thinking, "I wish I'd gone to that. I'd know what they said," and they won't know. We'll know though. We were there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good night.
It sounds fantastic.
So, what's the deal now because is it true 8 days a week is moving to Manchester now?
Yep, pretty much, yeah.
What's the plan in Stockport then? What are you up to?
Well, so the plan is, Notion's going to stay as the whole building. And then we're going to, once the site in Manchester's open, we're then going to do some work on downstairs to extend on the bar, really. So that there'll probably be a second bar put in downstairs. I want to get something interactive in there, some pool tables and some dartboards, just to make it a bit more of an actual dive bar feel. The problem is with Stockport at the minute, it's hard. This is nothing against Stockport as a town. It's just people aren't going out to eat as much anymore. They want to go out and get twatted every weekend, which is great with me. But it just seems to be that's where people are at now, is going out for food, less going out for drinks more. It's just making the best of a bad situation. Yeah,
so are you still... So I might have missed it in what you just said there, but is it still you're still doing some sort of food in there? Or
there will be, yeah, we will still be doing food. We'll be putting a menu out in the next couple of weeks. We're just waiting to get the right member of staff in who can run that site, run the kitchen at that site. As we move everyone over to the kitchen staff over to town.
Yeah, because I think in Stockport, I mean the Foodie Fridays do well, don't they? But generally, you're right. It's not no one really tends to go in onto the market and sit down for something to eat. It's usually like a burger, or I think Baker's Vaults do burgers. I think, don't they? Or they did.
Bakers don't even do food anymore.
Do they not? Right?
No, they've not done it since before last summer. So
right,
it just shows where it's at. It's like, who does food? We do food. Project 53, the Produce Hall, Dr. Feelgoods, and that's it for food.
Right.
Nobody else bothers with it, so which is a shame. But,
yeah. It is a shame because when we go down, we do we go into the Produce Hall. Also, we've been in your place before, haven't we? We have something to eat and things. So it is a real shame. It
just seems to be that where the town was before the second lockdown or the third lockdown or whichever set of restrictions we're on now, was when it was at it was getting there, and now it just seems to be like recoiling on itself a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think these things go through transitions, don't they? I mean, I remember the days when it was all bars, Sam's Bar, all bake. God, what was Yates's? Bambuser, yeah. You know what I mean? So it just goes through transitions. I think the market is in a better state than it has been for a long, long time, probably 20 years.
God, yeah. I mean, I remember when I was going to County when I was about 7 or 8, and if we ever ventured over onto the market, there was 1 or 2 places open. The Bull's Head was open, I think, and I think maybe the Bakers, if anything like that, before it was called the Bakers again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to go down the market now. I've done that once or twice now before the games. Me and Frankie quite often go in the market and get a sausage bomb and the coffee because they do food in the market.
That's right, yeah.
And then go and get a drink
That
across
seems to be the busiest place.
Yeah, good stuff.
We've directed the Larkhall fans there as well, haven't we? They're all going to come. We're said to the Larkhall guy, go to Stockport, go in the old town.
I was listening in.
Yeah,
it'd be all right to have a few of them in.
And we've warned them away from the pineapple, so that's good as well. Yeah.
That's like the bare minimum service for the away support. I always think it's like warn them off the pineapple. That's like you've really got to do that first off, and then take it from there.
Doing my bit. That's good. I'll get good karma now. That'll be it. I'm going to buy a scratch card after, and I'll probably win. Get the quid back.
Good stuff. Right. That's probably a good place to wrap it up. So, yeah, we've got the gig next week. As you heard before, 1 ticket left. Don't know who's going to snap that up, but yeah, there's 1 ticket going. Do listen to our kids show. Got a new kids show with some youngsters doing a podcast and learning their trade. The world's first. I think it is a world first. Certain.
We've both looked. You've looked and I looked, but just found a load of stuff in languages that I couldn't read. But we're pretty sure it was English. Pretty sure that it's a world first now. We have to get in the Guinness Book of Records. next to the fella with the eyes. I think so, yeah. Yeah. I used to be the type of thing I'd get like every Christmas.
Yeah, it was a staple in every household, wasn't it? Your dad would get a Guinness Book of Records.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, you get it in your stocking and then not be able to lift the stocking up because it's massive. This week's LP for the one person asking is Quadrophenia today.
You need to get a little LED light that shines on it.
I could do, I suppose.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go to Poundland and get one. They're only about £1.
Well, no, I'll go to the one in Stockport that's below £1, won't I?
Is it?
Yeah, there's a place in Stockport. It's called like under £1 or just under or something like that. But yeah, it's upshot is it's under £1. I ain't paying £1 when I can pay 99p for something.
And a £4 bus fare to get there.
yeah. £5 now. £5 for a day rider. Yeah.
Robbing bastards. Awful.
Shocking, isn't it? Bring back the Clipper cards, I say.
Them when I went to school, Jesus.
Yeah. I remember that.
Clip us on. And there's always one bus driver who didn't bother clipping them. So you got to collect the money off your mum for a Clipper card. And then just be like, jokes.
Oh, you'd have the one kid who pretended to clip it in the machine.
Yeah. Making the noise.
Do you know what we're on about, John? Or is it a Clipper card?
Do you know what? I'm thinking back. Did we have Clipper cards? That technology had not reached Newcastle in the 1980s. I can tell you that right now. It was just like
too busy getting blinded by paintball guns, weren't they?
But I remember it was 5 pence to get to the town. So certainly there's been some inflation since then.
10 pence to get out.
It was 3 pence to get us. That's right. It was 3 pence to get as far as St James's Park. So if you only had 3 pence, you got up by the football ground and walked in. Yeah, but Clipper cards, no, that's technical. That's advanced. That is. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I did not expect that tangent tonight, Russ.
No, the tangent came at the end. No one of the tangents are in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. It helps us massively. It gets us up the YouTube algorithms. And
why do you sound like Jimmy Savile when you say that?
Jimmy Savile?
I've noticed it every week when you say algorithms, you go in slightly more Savile. It's like algorithms.
I guess it's on the algorithms.
The name of the band was the algorithms.
Another milestone achieved, actually. We actually got over 700 subscribers on YouTube. And I've got to say, while you're here, Andy, actually, we've still got the competition on. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, you can win a county shirt. kindly donated by Andy at 8 days a week /Notion. So get subscribing. You know, we're slowly getting there. Slowly getting there.
If you come to the live show next week and you've not already subscribed, there's a chance I might just come out into the crowd and sit on your knee and make you subscribe in front of everyone. And no one needs that, do they? So, I'll just do it now.
I think you should, mate. I'll encourage that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I've said it now, haven't I?
Yeah. Fan Hub app. Again, another milestone achieved. Over 700 fans on the Fan Hub app. So yeah. The people are winning stuff now as well, which is really good. So bobble hats. And there's a new feature coming out pretty soon. I say pretty soon, in the next couple of months, where basically if you predict 11 out of 11 on your squad predictor, you win a pint. Regardless of whether you don't go to a hat to win it, you win it. So it's your first pint for the next match. Pretty good.
Get in with a member of the squad, I think, aren't I?
You don't have to go to the pineapple to drink it, though, do you? The small things.
No, Rusty's house. You knock on Rusty's door, and he just steps out, gives you a pint, and then shuts the door.
And shuts the door.
On your bike, take it with you.
So that's coming. That's coming soon. And if you're on, are any of you the insider club for Fan Hub? No,
I quite happily would be, but.
So fan coins coming soon as well for the app. So all those fan shares that you've got will be convertible into tradable cash. That's coming this year. So there you go. Anyway, so that's Fan Hub. So
I can't wait for all the people who've like totally given it a miss and slagged it off, and then they're like, "Well, hang on, they're getting money. Oh yeah, I'm getting on this." It's like, well, you've not built up your points now, have you?
Well,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
See, it's not like I haven't been telling people to get on it, but 700 county fans in the app is pretty good. So it's growing all the time. Yes, and all that's left for me to say is, Andy, thank you very much for coming on.
Cheers, thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate.
It's me, Andy.
You too, John.
Yeah.
We'll see you all next week.
You will. I'm really looking forward to that. John, as always, and Nick, as always, thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
No problem. And I will bid you farewell. See you at Larkhall on Saturday, and see you in a couple of weeks. I don't know which one to play out. Oh, we'll do this one. See you later. Bye.
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbagarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.